We're in Sefer Yeshua, and we're gonna pick it up from pasuk Hey. We're gonna cover some ground today. Pasuk Hey, the pasuk says, "Vihi hashar," and it was that the gate. He is usually the word Vihi is coming to say, and it was, but it's that something bad was happening. So the gate was about to lizgor. Comes from the word sagor, close. בחשך, gate was about to close. It was nighttime. It was nighttime, not dark. והאנשים יצאו, and the men that they left, they went out. It's talking about the spies. Lo yadati ana halchu ha'anashim. This is Rachav talking. I don't know where the men went. So she said, Ridfu, maher, go run after them quickly. אחריהם, go after them. He tasiigum, because you will surely reach them. You will overtake them. That's the end of Rachav talking. That's the end of her conversation over here. It says over here, Lo yadati ana halchu. Ana means where. I don't know where they went. That's how the Metzudas translates it. Ana le'iza makom. I don't know where they went. That's the whole pasuk. The Metzudas Ian says, "Vyhi hashar the gate rotza limer be'ez bo zman segidos shar ha'ir." When the time came to close the gates of the city, kasher choshech hayom, meaning when it was dark during the day, at night rather. Ki tasiigum hiyoyze mekorav yatzum. Straightforward. Nothing fancy over here. Nothing more to go into. That's the whole pasuk. Pasuk Vav says, "Vihi ha'olosam ha'gaga." She actually brought them up to the roof. Now look at this very interesting word over here. Vatitamenem. So if we go back to pasuk Daled, go back previously, it said that she hid him. Now it's saying plural, them. There's something to talk about. Bepishti ha'etz. It was in types of stalks of flax. Haruchos that were arranged. Law al hagag, arranged for on the roof. Now, question is, why did she need to re-hide them? She already hid them once. And we clearly know that from two psukim earlier. So why is she re-hiding them? So the Metzudas picks up on this. Let's take a look first how he translates the words. Haruchos meloshen haricho v'sidur, like arranged. Metzudas Dovid says, "Hoisifu lahatminam b'makom yoiser nister." She re-hid them in a place which was more hidden. It's a better hiding spot. So she re-hid them to get a better spot. That's how the Metzudas learns this. The Radak offers another answer. The Radak over here says, we already said that she hit them above. V'ata amar, and now you're saying, and again, lahodia ich tamna ois. It's not to say that she hid them another time, like the Metzudas Dovid. Rather, what this is coming to say is that how did she hide them? The way in which she hid them. That's the idea over here. So you have a couple of different ways to answer that question as to why there had to be an additional hiding. Take a look at the Barbanel. He seems to say a similar idea. After they left, she re-hid them to make a better hiding spot. Next pasuk. והאנשים רדפו אחריהם דרך הירדן על המעברות. The people of Yericho, they chase after them by the way of the Jordan River. Al literally means on, but we're going to see the Metzudas, I think, is going to translate that differently. Hamabrois, until the crossings. Bahashar Sogru Achrei, Kasher Yatsu Haraitum Achreihem, and the gates were closed after when the people who were chasing them already went through, when they left. So let's take a look at the Metzudas. Al kimono kimo ad. It means until. Amaroros makom avar yardin, the place of the crossing of the Jordan River. So again, when the pasuk says they chase after them, al, it means until the crossing area. And close, the Metzudas Dovid explains. Lefi sharotzu levachsham oid be'ir. They wanted to look for them again in the city. Sagru shomi ashar sashar. That's why the people who were guarding the gate, they made sure to lock the gate. Shelo yotzum ata, that no one would come in. In other words, they were saying if they left the city, we're running after them. If they left the area, we're going to chase after them. And if they're still here, fine. So we'll lock it so there's no way out. So then we'll find them later when we have more time to search after them. That's how the Metzudas Dovid explains this idea over here. Pasuk Zayin. Pasuk Ches. The art scroll actually offers a little introduction to the next 6 psukim and says, after Rachav sent the king's police on a wild goose chase, she went up to the spies' hiding place and made her case. She explained that her treatment of them was not treason against her government, but it was a result of her recognition of God, who was the ruler of the universe, had ordained that the land of Canaan would belong to Israel. Her declaration that the Canaanites were frightened to the point of demoralization was what the spies had been sent to learn. Now, let's just stop there because we learned in the past that that necessarily wasn't true. That was up for discussion between the Malbim, I think it was the Radak and the Barbanel, as to why exactly they were sent in, the spies. What was their purpose? The Abarbanel, on the first pasuk, he has length of this parak, says they were going in for military tactics to figure out the best way to go in. So that wasn't necessarily so simple what they're saying over here. I mean, you can't be very, very precise over here. But I think it was this piece. Remember, he didn't like the Malbim. He attacked the Malbim. I thought he oh, yeah, the Radak. He says, Lo kadas machshavas anshe haaretz kedivrei Radak. Not like what the Radak says. So he doesn't like the Radak. Radak was the one who said that they were going in to search out to see morally and mentally where the people were holding. So just wanted to point out that what they're saying over here isn't so simple. The Radak says, "Hakavana biregulam haisa larago machshavoisam levad." This is the Radak towards the end of the first pasuk. It's pretty, he has a nice amount of length over here. So that's only according to the Radak that the spies were sent in to see their mental and their psychological state of mind. But the Abarbanel clearly argues on this. The Malbim also goes in the direction of the Radak, if I'm not mistaken. I'm gonna look it up now. This is why it's important to review. If I'm not gonna remember it, probably, assuming no one's gonna remember it. So, but he goes in here. He goes into this. We said this somewhere. The Malbim I've is more in. Malbim has a lot of length. It's harder to find it, but I think that he went in the direction of the Ralbag. Anyways, it's up for discussion. So back in the art scroll, their mission was a success, right? Even if you go according to the reasoning of they wanted to check out the best place, the best way to enter, still was a success. They could figure that out by now. So if they could make their way back to the camp without being caught, it would be a success. So she proposed to help them escape, provided they would guarantee her protection to her and her family. And the spies swore to do so. That's where we're holding over here. So the next pasuk continues. Pasuk ches. V'hei terem yishkavun, and then before they went to sleep, v'hi also aleihem. Literally, she went up on them. We're gonna see, swap out the ayin for an aleph. It's gonna say aleihem. She went to them. Sorry, this ayin. She went to them. Alagag on the roof. The Metzudas writes, aleihem kimo, not aleihem, but aleihem. Ba'aleph with the aleph. She went to them. Vehema and them. What does that mean and them? Vehema and them before they went to sleep. She went up to check on them. We'll see why she went up in a moment. Next pasuk. Vataymer el hanashim. Oh, okay. So there's a ma'amaways on this pasuk. So before we go to the next one, let's take a look at what the ma'amaways says. Yeah. Ma'amaways says, this pasuk teaches us that even though they were in a state of danger, right, there was a legitimate concern that the messengers from Yericho would return and search for them, or maybe the king would send additional troops, messengers. They still went to sleep as if nothing was bothering them, as if they were going to go down, lie down to sleep. This teaches us how righteous these people were. That they were tzaddikim, that had a tremendous amount of bitachon, they had a tremendous amount of belief in Hashem. These two righteous people were two emissaries, two messengers that Moshe sent in Yazer, and they conquered the city single-handedly. Okay, I don't know exactly what he's referencing. He says, like I said earlier, I don't think we went through that part. It's probably very tangential, so I decided not to. So also now, they were certain that Hashem would cause a salvation to occur and that they would have success when they would come to wage war against Yericho and be victorious. But Rachav was concerned. She was worried. And she requested to remove them from the house and to save them before that. So that's the idea over here. So she went up to the roof and she was concerned. Maybe they were already sleeping. And if she would use a loud voice, so then they would realize that. Yargishu ba, maybe other people would hear that noise. That's what he means over here. So that's why she went on this flax. They realized that. Some explain that this was a roof that was very tall. He also lam also gag acher. Shaheh gavoa min agag shenimsu bo. She went to a roof which was higher than the roof that they were on, because she was concerned that if she would go to the exact roof that they were on, they would be concerned and have thoughts that maybe the messengers returned and were coming to take them, right? Or maybe she was going to lock them up or something, whatever it was. Also, it's not derech er, it's proper etiquette. It's not proper etiquette to go to a roof where people are sleeping. I don't know why just a roof, maybe also a room. It's what to look into there. Random person, you don't know. Therefore, she went to a different roof, and her intention when she went up was to see them and to show them, to tell them the best way that they should escape. Also, to ask them and request from them that she should be saved, her and her family, after the land of Israel is conquered by the Jews. But she knew clearly that these messengers that Yehoshua sent would not return empty-handed to Yehoshua. They were first going to go fulfill their mission and spy out the land. Therefore, Rachav said first what they needed to know, that the fear of the Jews fell upon everyone in Yericho, and they were all petrified. And maybe also military tactics, according to the explanation of the of Barbanel. Next pasuk. You have to say that. You have to say that according. You have to say that. I would say it's even more pashup pshat that the simple explanation of the psukim is that the spies went there to check out the military status and the best way to get in, not the um, mental, excuse me, or the psychological status. So once you're gonna go with that idea of that they went to spy to look at the best way to enter physically, then you have to say that she also told them that as well. The Barbanel goes into this idea that the mom always is quoting over here. He goes into some more details. Next pasuk says, "Vataymer ala nashim." She told the people, "Yadati, I know. Ki nasan Hashem lachem es haaretz, that Hashem gave you the land. V'chi nafla emoschem aleinu, and that your fear has fell upon us. V'chi namogu kol yoshvei haaretz mipnechem." And all of the inhabitants of the land are namogu in front of you. What is this word namogu? Not such a common word. Nimsu, which means like to melt, dissolve, to melt. Everyone melting. Everyone's fearing you. That's the idea over here. Which is pasuk. There's not even a Radak over here. There's a Malamois, if I'm not mistaken. Okay, that Malamois is connected to the next pasuk, so we'll do the next pasuk, then we'll do that together, and then we'll pasuk Yud. Ki sham'anu, because we heard. Question is, how do they hear it? So in the Mechilta, in Parshas Yisro in the beginning says, when the seas split by Kriyas Yamsuf, this was heard. Everyone in the world heard about that. That's what this pasuk is talking about. Ki shamanu eis asher hovish Hashem esmi Yamsuf. Because we heard how Hashem caused the waters of the Yamsuf to dry up mipnechem because of you. B'seischem in Mitzrayim, when you left, when you departed from Egypt. V'asher asisem l'shnei malchi ha'amori, and what you did to the two Amori kings, Asher be'eva Yardim, which were on the other side of the Jordan, AK referring to Lesichon and Og, Asher hechramtem oisem, that you destroyed them. And the Psukim are going to continue about how much fear they had. Pasuk Yud. Hovish Meloshin Yavish comes from the language of drying. It was dried out. Hechramtem inyan misa v'kilyon. This is talking about death and destruction. All right, that's going to be Pasuk Yud. The Art Scroll explains, even though this miracle happened 40 years earlier, they quote the Gemara in Zvachim, Kuf Tezayim Beis, that even though Rachav was only 10, its effect still remained. This word Nimogu also, I think it's right, Az Yashar we see also. Because that was a quintessential proof that Hashem ruled over nature however he wanted. Az Yashar actually coming up, Shvi Shal Pesach. Appropriate time to learn about this topic. Mamaways comments over here. I'm gonna Rachav lahem yadati zeh sha'ani oimeres lachem him devarim berurim she'atem yichilu nismach aleim. What I'm telling you is true. You could rely on it. You could give a complete answer to Yehoshua and the Jewish people that Hashem has given you the land, and everyone fears you over here, just like animals fear humans. Clear proof you're gonna get the land. Not only on us, but on everyone in the land, even people who are far away. That's the idea. We heard about all the miracles that happened, and everyone's scared. Whole world heard. Even though Hashem could have saved you in another way, could have brought you on the wings of eagles, Hashem did this to teach the entire world how great he is and how much he focuses on you. This is all Rachav talking, deeper idea. What's what happened to the kings? Even though they're very mighty people and their kingdoms are mighty, strong, fortified walls, nevertheless they were destroyed. Nothing remained of them. Ever hear of an Amori nowadays? Nope, don't exist. So this is the basic rundown of these psukim over here. There's no reason to spend more time on it. There's not that much action involved over here on these psukim. we're kind of stopping in the middle of a sentence, so to say. I mean, it's the end of it, but it's in the middle of what she's telling them, in the middle of her speech, and that's because we're going to touch on something on the next pasuk, which is going to take a little bit longer, and something that is very interesting, which is basically what's the connection of between Yehoshua and Purim. The Purim, if you're in Israel, specifically in an area that was walled from the time of Yehoshua ben Nun, aka in Jerusalem, Yerushalayim, then your Purim is on the 15th of Adar, as opposed to anywhere else, it's on the 14th. What does Purim have to do with Yehoshua ben Nun, if it was walled in his time or not? It has to do with Achashverosh, so that we're going to cover next time. Stay tuned.